Hi, shalom friends. There's a folk legend which is quite popular in the Jewish tradition, and it goes along these lines. In some small village/town in the Ukraine, there lived 25 or 30 Jewish families. Each one of them lived in a small little hut, and this one had a couple of chickens, this one was a blacksmith, this one did a little bit of work on the side. What united all of them is that they were all poor. One of these wonderful Jewish families was a person who was even more poor than the average poor. And they were poor not only in material goods, but they were also poor in knowledge of Judaism. Neither he nor his wife were able to read Hebrew. Neither one of them had any formal schooling, but they were both very pious. They had grown up with parents that were observant, rather simple, and they did the best they can. So every morning they would devise essentially their own prayer. And on Shabbat, they celebrated it the way they remembered, by not working, by saying Good Shabbos and honoring it with a better type of a food, and so they lived. The same way they were outstanding in the city, or I should say the town, with their poverty, they were outstanding in a different way. And that is, their simple faith in God was truly awesome. Never did a word of complaint ever pass their lips. There were times when they went to bed hungry, but they always thanked God for providing for them. And they always consoled themselves. We're not starving, we have a place, it might be chilly, but we're not freezing, and so on and so forth. And their simple piety and their firm faith in heaven made a profound impression. So as the story continues, the heavenly court decided that this wonderful couple deserves a blessing. And as the man goes to the forest to cut some wood for firewood, he suddenly sees a man with a shining countenance. A stranger. He had never seen him before. And the stranger introduces himself, and he says, Yaakov, I am Elijah the prophet. I was sent from heaven to give you a treasure. I will show you this treasure, but you should know that you could only take what you could carry home today. Afterwards, the treasure will disappear. And in his simplicity and naivete, he just thought that Elijah the prophet comes to a lot of different people, and he was just lucky. So he follows Elijah the prophet, who brings him deep into the forest and says, cut this bark of the tree, and when he does so, there's actually a treasure that was put into the hollow of the tree, and then something grew over it. He didn't have to be sophisticated to know that what he was seeing was a treasure fit for a king. But Elijah the prophet told him that he could only take as much as he could carry. So he looked at his garments. He had just one pocket. He took a couple of gold coins, put it into the pocket. He decided maybe he would be able to slip something in between his shirt and his skin. And when he could not carry any more, he turned aside and started to go home. On his way home, he realizes that his mysterious guest disappeared. Of course, he was very, very excited and understood that the amount of wealth that he was carrying would be more than enough to support him and his wife till the end of days in a rather comfortable way. When he came home early, his wife was quite nervous and said, Yankel, is everything okay? And gaily he shouts, we are rich. Our faith in God has been proven. God does provide. Watch. See what I'm going to do. And with great fanfare, he puts his hand in his pocket. He takes out one gold coin, a second gold coin, and then he shakes out from his shirt a third gold coin, and she just exclaimed in wonder, Baruch Hashem, blessed is God, and then she simply fainted from emotion. Of course, she was revived, and the Hollywood ending is that this pious couple lived happily ever after in comfort. Well, what's the lesson of this folk legend? That simple piety and firm faith, you're rewarded for that. But the way the story is told, they often add a commentary. And the commentary is as follows. They ask a question. Who actually saw the treasure? The wife or the husband? The husband. Why is it that the husband, seeing a much greater treasure, did not faint, and his wife, just seeing 3 or 4 gold coins, did faint? Shouldn't it have been the opposite? That when he was told that this treasure, as much as he wants, is his, shouldn't have been overwhelming? And the answer that they give is very incisive. When Elijah the prophet told him that there'll be a great treasure before him, but he could only take what he could carry, the moment of exhilaration was tempered with a sober realization that he can't take everything. So in the moment of delirious joy, there was already a sense of a break, holding back, a sense of regret. Oh, there's so much more to take and I won't be able to take it. And for that reason, when he saw the treasure, he was not overwhelmed. When his wife saw the treasure, she did not know of what was not taken. She just saw a treasure before her, thinking that this was it, and now it's theirs. That was such an intense emotion that it temporarily overwhelmed her. I was thinking that actually this is a very important story and an important lesson to consider. At times, we consult with people that have great wisdom, and we're often amazed at their intelligence and at their knowledge. What's more impressive to us is that they're very humble. And we sometimes wonder, they know so much, how could they be so humble? And actually, it's a very simple question to answer. The person that has the intelligence, the person that has studied, realizes how little he has acquired. There is so much more, such depth, such complexity, such beauty. He has perhaps just a couple of grains of sand from a seashore. On the other hand, the person asking does not have that knowledge, does not have that insight, thinks that, wow, this man, this lady, they have so much knowledge. It's overwhelming. So for them, it's like as if they're being exposed to the entire treasure. But to this dispenser of this wisdom, they realize how little they've actually acquired. I was thinking perhaps we could even extend this to observance. Many of us were privileged to grow up observant, and then we have a guest and who observes our kosher diet or our Shabbat day and says, I really admire you, but I can never be so religious. I mean, I don't know how you do it. There's just so many laws and so much observance that you're doing. I mean, that's great, but I don't think I'll ever be able to do it. And the person actually laughs and says, are you kidding? I'm observant, I'm religious, I'm knowledgeable. There's so much more. The little bit that I do is wonderful, it's vibrant, it's true. But it's not ultimately completely satisfying. I want more. I know there's more. I could make my Shabbat day a deeper day, not only of relaxation, but of Jewish rejuvenation. The prayers that I say, I love it. I wish I could say it with more intensity. So when the person who only sees a prayer and thinks that is the end of prayer, yes, you might be overwhelmed. I don't think I could ever do this. But when you realize that there's infinite treasures of holiness and spirituality, everyone could do it. Everyone could do it on their level. Everyone could do it partially or perhaps completely, but again, incrementally, little by little. So friends, we're all good, we're all holy, we're all observant, we're all Jewish, and so on and so forth. But there are treasures waiting for us. I believe it would behoove us to challenge ourselves. Is this to some extent, is this the limit, or is this perhaps the pathway for future growth? I know the answer for me is that I have much to accomplish. Shalom.